Now, what I'm about to share with you about Daniel will shock you because you're about to discover how to create a personality transplant, even when you're far from the person you want to be, how to remain at peace and even confident in times of adversity and difficulty, how to spark a domino effect of blessings whichever way you turn. However, as promised earlier, I'm going to share with you the science behind the quicksand mind and how prayer is the single most powerful way to soar above it. In 1998, there was an Ohio State University study done by John Cacioppo, Ph.D. He showed people pictures known to arouse positive feelings, say a Ferrari or a pizza. Those certain to stir up negative feelings, a mutilated face or a dead cat, and those known to produce neutral feelings, a plate or a hairdryer. Meanwhile, he recorded electrical activity in the brain's cerebral cortex. The brain reacted more strongly to stimuli it deemed negative. There was a greater surge in electrical activity. Thus, our attitudes are more heavily influenced by downbeat news than good news. There's a good reason why. Our capacity to weigh negative input so heavily most likely evolved for good reason, to keep us out of harm's way. From the dawn of human history, our very survival depended on our skill at dodging huge predators that can swallow us whole. But now we're not living in a reality where we'll get eaten by a saber-toothed tiger, yet the brain hasn't caught up. This means, because of that negative wiring, your brain can't help but invite disaster into your life. That's why there's so much bad news on TV, because human beings can't help but invite the nasty things in life to invade. So no matter what you do, you are conditioned to taking the lower vibration route. That's why despite trying so hard, you're still broke. That's why despite meditating so often, your relationships still suck. That's why despite immersing yourself in binaural beats, you're still stuck in the same sorry place. Your mind can be your worst enemy. And here's the main issue. All those other practices, the binaural beats, the affirmations, the guided meditations, while it gets you in theta state, although temporarily, once you're done, you're going to snap back to your original state. As a result, you're going to get a roller coaster of results. Good when your mind is in theta state, bad when your mind isn't. So here's some great news. What if I told you prayer doesn't help you quickly vibrate at high frequency? It can help you stay there forever. Sounds a little unbelievable, right? Yet research has shown that prayer can bend reality, change your DNA, and rewire your brain, the foundations for true permanent change of state. Here's 3 scientifically backed powers of prayer on how it helps you ascend to the dimension of unconditional love, light, and delight without ever coming down to bitter reality. Prayer can bend reality. You read that right. It's like a Jedi mind trick. In a 2008 study published by Explore, the Journal of Science and Healing, Dr. Dean Radin, a neurotheology researcher, took 5 experienced praying people and 5 normal control subjects and asked them to mentally interfere with a laser beam pointed at a light-reading CCD sensor inside a sealed box. Guess what? The praying people blocked the laser light compared to non-meditators and control runs. In other words, your mind can indeed overcome matter. With the focused intention of prayer, you can change previously hopeless circumstances. It's just one step away from your problems and pain. Not only that, it can transform your DNA. The Institute of Heart Math, an internationally recognized nonprofit research organization, conducted a study called Local and Non-Local Effects of Coherent Heart Frequencies on Conformational Changes of DNA. This study showed that thinking and feeling anger, fear, and frustration cause DNA to change shape according to thoughts and feelings. The DNA responded by tightening up and becoming shorter, switching off many DNA codes, which reduced quality expression. This means when we choose to engage in toxic thoughts, for example, unforgiveness, bitterness, irritation, or feelings of not coping, we change the DNA and subsequent genetic expressions, which then changes the shape of our brain wiring in a negative direction. No wonder we develop quicksand brains. However, the flip side holds the real key. When you adopt a positive attitude, the good choice rewires everything back to the original healthy positive state. These scientists basically proved prayer, which is reinforced positive thinking, opened up our DNA codes and removed stress once and for all. But here's the most potent reason. It can rewire your brain for the miraculous. On a bright spring day in 1998 at Andrew Newberg's laboratory, the neuroscientist settles Reverend Scott McDermott in a darkened examination room and asks the pastor to pray for someone else. A few minutes later, at the moment Newberg believes McDermott has reached the peak of his prayer, the researcher injects the minister with a dye that shows the blood flow in his brain. Now it's time for Newberg to take a peek at McDermott's neural connections, sliding him into a SPECT scanner, which will create an image of which parts of McDermott's brain lit up and which went dark while he prayed. A few minutes later, Newberg has preliminary results on his computer screen. He notes some areas of increased activity in the frontal lobes, which handled focused attention. In other words, his brain defaulted to the positive. In other words, there was no other reality in his brain but one of love, peace, and healing. The dark side didn't even exist. There was simply no room for negativity. In other words, prayer changes the wiring of the brain for oneness with the universe, so there's no going back. Are you starting to be convinced yet? As a friendly warning, most other manifestation strategies are like a chicken trying to defy gravity. In the movie Chicken Run, the hero needed to cross a fence. As he couldn't fly, he built a bike that took him across the barrier. While that was the heartwarming reality, the main issue was no matter what he did, he will still plummet to earth. After all, a chicken can only do so much because their very nature is still chicken. They will not defy gravity. This is like your brain with a negative bias. However, what if I told you it's far easier to be rather than do? What if instead of being a chicken, you're an eagle instead? Won't it be easier to fly? Won't it be simpler to soar above the stratosphere? So instead of trying and toiling, you could just spread your wings and get to that next level? That's what prayer can do. It can change your chicken brain to an eagle brain. Like I said earlier, it can even change your DNA. When your state is transformed, you can't help but be an amazing person. You can't help but be grateful. You can't help but achieve your soul purpose. You can't help but take charge of your life and seize every golden opportunity that comes your way. Here's another way to look at it. You're like a caterpillar who became a butterfly. The butterfly cannot go back to being a caterpillar no matter how hard it tries. In the same way, once you go through prayer, you'll transform like a butterfly with vibration wings to help you fly to a stratospheric future. The change is irreversible. You're never going back to the pain, never going back to the hurt, never going back to the depression, never going back to the sickness, never going back to the poverty. Isn't that brilliant news? However, here's the issue. Prayer is powerful, but what you pray for matters equally as well. Think of prayer as a tool like a hammer. However, you need nails for a hammer to work. The content of those prayers are those nails. Nails that will help you get the breakthroughs you want. So coupled with the DNA-altering, theta state-inducing, and mind-rewiring power of prayer, I looked into the book of Daniel as nails and started using the prayer hammer to hit away. As a result, I looked into why this obscure biblical figure was so powerful and why he was the object of Archangel Michael's affection. It became my life quest. As things stabilized, as my marriage improved and money kept on flowing in, I dedicated my life's work to the study of Daniel and his amazing life. This is why the prayer of Daniel is so effective. From prisoner to the palace, the amazing life of the prophet Daniel. His life story was interesting. He started off as a slave in 620 BC, a Jewish captivity of Babylon. However, in a mere few years, he ended up a higher rank in the courts and even ended up on the right hand of King Nebuchadnezzar, the most powerful man of his day. Now imagine that. How many prisoners do you know that end up a prince? Usually if someone is a POW, they will end up in chains until rescued, or tortured, or killed. They will not usually end up in the good graces of the ruler and end up co-ruling the country. It just doesn't happen. So why did these astonishing things happen to Daniel? It's because of his prayer. After all, even a prestigious institution like Harvard University has concluded that by just a few words of prayer, you can effect change. In the research of scientist Herbert Benson, MD, who has spent decades studying the effects of prayer on people with medical conditions, Benson claims that the repetitive effects of certain phrases or words for reducing stress give hope and promote healing. This means that because of Daniel's repetitive use of a few sentences, he transformed his reality. Because of merely repeating a few sentences, Daniel went from slave to superior. Are you starting to see the power yet? Now how about you? Daniel was a Babylonian slave that broke free. What things are holding you back that the prayers of Daniel can solve? Don't you want to go from refugee to royalty? Don't you want to go from being overlooked to being a somebody? From being sick to whole? From being unloved to loved? But wait, this is when it gets better. Thanks to his prayers, Daniel too ended up living a high-vibration life of miracles. For instance, he survived the lion's dens. Are you stuck in a hostile environment? Are there enemies like your creditors, toxic relatives, and mounting bills attacking you? The prayers of Daniel can help you not just survive, but end up in a better position than you ever did before. His friends survived being thrown into a raging furnace. How many of you have fires you need to put out? Does your crisis seem never-ending and relentless? The prayers of Daniel can help you quench the most fiery of circumstances, bringing love, peace, and joy when there was none. He interpreted the dreams of the ruler. How many of you want the power to reap the full wisdom of your dreams? Do you have life decisions that puzzle you? And do you need some help from the angels? Prayers of Daniel can shine a light on those enigmatic dreams and give you the laser-accurate answers you so crave. He transformed the destiny of the nation. So, national affairs may not be your cup of tea. However, this proves how invincible the prayers of Daniel are. How much more life-changing can uttering a few words be? How awesome would it be if you could eliminate your generational trauma or trample the most challenging of obstacles? How much of a relief will it be if you don't need to pay for the sins of the fathers anymore? As I continued the prayer of Daniel, abundant blessings hunted me down like a pack of happy puppies. Then one day, something marvelous happened. I walked the streets where that laundromat was. I just felt led there. To my utter surprise, the second-hand bookstore was there again. That cheesy rundown sign was still there, heaven on earth. Seeing it as a divine opportunity, I immediately dashed in. Again, I saw the man in the cobalt blue top. This time round, his face was glowing, radiant even. It was as if, since I'd discovered his identity, he didn't need to conceal his true angelic form. With a kind, firm voice, he asked me how I was. Again, I volunteered all kinds of information, like the times before. The difference, of course, is everything now was awesome. I spilled out on how loving my marriage was, how much more healthy I was, how wealthy we got to be. We'd even bought a new house with nearly pure cash, how we didn't have debt. Again, Michael nodded, this time with a Cheshire-like grin on his face. He then said, "It's time for you to share the prayers of Daniel with the world." My initial reaction was, huh? Who, me? After all, I was only a mere homemaker, albeit one with an unbelievable life of abundance. And then I was struck by how selfish I was. How could I hoard such truth in a world of utter depression? Again, I left the bookstore. This time round, I stood for what I swear was ours, since heaven knows if I would ever see that blessed place again. I walked away. I glanced one more time. Predictably, the bookshop was gone. The bustling laundromat was back in place. And now my mission expanded to share this divine message with the world. So I did, and imparted it with a few people. And they received the most mind-blowing of miracles, like Andrew. Jane. Mary. Or even Kendra, who won the lottery. Now it has come to this. Instead of just sharing it in my city, in my suburbs, among my friends, I want to share these revelations with you. So announcing the 7-day prayer miracle, giving you the vibration wings to not just be lifted into the realm of love, abundance, and the supernatural, but to stay there forever. Without further ado, this is what you get. 7-day prayer miracle, grabbing the attention of heaven. This is my life's work. This is my gift to you. These are the very teachings that have impacted the lives of hundreds of thousands of people. An incredible 30,000 words of wisdom, an in-depth, step-by-step guide on how to pray the way Daniel prayed, actionable insights into his remarkable life. Get the Archangel Michael to help you out of trouble. With just a few sentences, you can start living in the realm of miracles and close the door behind you. The more you read this, the more resolved you'll be that 7-day prayer miracle will be your catalyst to attain heavenly delights. And wait, there's more. 7-day prayer miracle, prayer journal. 7 days to your jaw-dropping miracle. Not only will you get 7 amazing prayers, you'll also get a beautifully designed ornate prayer journal to go with it. And here's why I included it. Because journaling can further prime your life for the fullness of blessings that are coming. Here's some startling research to confirm this fact. Psychologists from the University of California were able to investigate the effect of journaling by inviting 20 volunteers to visit the lab for a brain scan before asking them to write for 20 minutes a day for 4 consecutive days. Half of the participants wrote about a fairly recent emotional experience, while the other half of the participants wrote about something neutral. Those who chose to write about an emotional experience showed more activity in the part of the brain called the right ventrolateral prefrontal cortex. In turn, this relaxed neural activity that is linked to strong emotional feelings. This means you're creating a brain that's even further primed for blessing. It's almost like you're enlarging your capacity, a larger container, so that the blessings don't go out and go to waste. This simple prayer of Daniel totally transformed my life. But that's just one of the prayers. There are 7 more, each equally powerful. Each have the same immense potential to restore your joy, reclaim your happiness, and launch you towards your purpose. Think of these as a multicolored bouquet of blessings. Different exquisite flowers, lush red roses, delicate tulips, vivid sunflowers, golden marigolds, each one representing a blessing for every aspect of your life. The 7-day prayer miracle has given you the exact word-for-word incarnation to experience spectacular miracles in every aspect of your life. For starters, you're simply capturing every sweet drop of favor. If you desire a soulmate that completes you, body, soul, and mind, you'll get that in day 5. If you want to break the shackles of unforgiveness and live in utter peace and contentment, you may want to go straight to day 2. If you wish to tap into boundless angelic wisdom to accomplish your purposes in an astonishing way, day 7 awaits. And wait, there's more. Here are some bonuses to sweeten the pot. A song of shifts, the miracle frequency that gets angels to do your bidding. Do you know that there's a special frequency that only angels recognize? It's like tuning into your favorite radio station, just that instead of listening to Billboard Top 40, you'll get to tune in to the heavenly realms where angels can't wait to connect and do your bidding. Best of all, It takes exactly 11 seconds to reach this miraculous wavelength. And once you pair it with the prayers, you'll get a jetpack to go with your vibrational wings. It comes in carefully rendered MP3 format. Divine hearing: how to recognize crucial messages from your angels. Sometimes the elusive answers you've been looking for are just in front of your nose. You just need to know how to tap into the divine. Angels and other divine beings speak all the time. They're almost like clanging drums or a talkative relative. They just don't stop with their words of kindness, hope, and love. However, it's almost like someone put earplugs to block out their beautiful voices. It could be in the form of negative voices, the noise of anxiety, or the bitterness of hurt. This exclusive training will teach you how to dig out those earplugs so you can hear the angels in their infinite wisdom and decipher crucial messages to help your season in life. Divine numbers: how to interpret angelic sequences and unleash their blessings. Do you find yourself seeing repeated numbers everywhere in your life, and have you been wondering what they could mean? The phenomena of seeing number sequences, sometimes called angel numbers, is becoming more mainstream as people begin working more with their angels. The thing about numbers is that it goes back to ancient times and is considered a form of universal language. Pythagoras said, "Numbers rule the universe." We find repeating number patterns in music, geometry, the measurements of celestial bodies, and countless other areas in the scientific world. And just like everything else in the universe, numbers carry an energetic vibration and pattern. When you're able to tap into angelic numbers, you access the magic of creation. You can create brand new realities for yourself. Remember how a seemingly random bunch of numbers won me the lottery? Glorious realities of health, wholeness, happiness, and love. So enjoy this PDF filled with the secrets of the universe. The Prayer of Daniel: 476 words that bring heaven crashing to earth. This is the prayer that started it all, the one that had reconciled my formerly turbulent marriage and restored my husband to me, helped me win the lottery that settled my debt to the cent, gave me health like a young person, gave me my current life mission to transform the life of everyone on this planet. It's now here in all its full glory. I recited these 4 verses, and it was really all it took. But the full verse contains even more power, contains even more potential, also found in lovely PDF format. The more you read this, the more excited you get. Let me tell you why it probably wouldn't cost as much as it should. Back in 2013, I set a massive goal. I dedicated myself to help at least 100,000 men and women to fulfill their soul purpose. Since then, I've helped thousands of people in my suburb and my city to go through the Prayer of Daniel and enjoy unbelievable miracles, and you can be one of them. The bottom line, I decided that I absolutely need to let as many people as possible join in this cause, a cause I call the Prayer Paladin Movement. The good news? That means a much lower price for you because I don't want finances to stop anyone. So let's add you to the cause, starting right now. That means that today you will not be paying the retail value of 7 Prayer Miracle and the free gifts, not even close. In fact, you're getting the whole course at a 50% discount. And because I'm so convinced it will work for you, what I'm about to offer is something unprecedented. I call it the 7 Day to Miracles Guarantee, the ultimate ironclad agreement that if you don't achieve instant results, we don't deserve to take your money. No tricks or loopholes. Here's how it works. Get your copy of 7 Day Prayer Miracle today. Go through the prayers. Utter them word for word. See immediate manifestation. More importantly, go from chicken mind to eagle mind, and from caterpillar to butterfly. Soar and be free. Draw a line in the sand because now you're attracting so many amazing things, you're almost like a Hoover for blessings. And look back on day 7. You'll be dazzled by the results. Congratulations! You have just become a prayer paladin. If you don't do a double take because you can't believe your eyes, or if for any reason you aren't 100% satisfied with your results, Simply send us an email and we'll give you back every penny, no questions asked, up to 60 days. If your life hasn't changed, we don't want your money.